There's nothing I hate more than getting ready to make like a video, like just something on my channel, like me busting balls, just being the regular dick that I am, and then something horrible happening in our country where it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And if you don't know what that is by now, it should be in the title. Five police officers, more than five police officers were shot last night, but five of them actually ended up dying. At a peaceful, it started out peaceful protest. I guess it remained peaceful until somebody started opening fire on innocent people at a rally in Dallas for a few of the black men that have been killed lately, murdered lately by police. I'm going to say a few things here, and if you get offended easily, you want to click off, just get off now, because it's going to be that type of video. Because I'm just doing this all off the top of my head, and you know what? There's a lot going on up there that's not very well, so I'm just going to tell you. I'm sick of hearing about these shootings. I'm so sick and tired of this happening everywhere. I mean, we just got done with the Orlando thing, not done. Other people are still going through it. People lost people and shit. But now we have this where somebody just, I mean, it was like when I was watching the news coverage last night, it looked like something out of the Wild West. It's like something out of like here in the 1800s where there's just gunshots going all across everywhere and people are running and fleeing and there's standoffs. And look, all right, I'm really just sick. I have to start it this way with the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm just tired of them. I think they're a bullshit movement. I've said it before. I think they're ridiculous. I think that they don't want to start cleaning up their own mess. I mean, if you want to do, show me the stats. You're starting with the least, not the least important, but the least of, if Black Lives Matter so much, let's start there. Why do we not start with who are killing the majority of black people in America, which is sadly other black people? Show me a stat where I am wrong about this. Show me a stat or a study, any, concrete data where you see that white police officers or hell, any police officers are going around murdering more black people than other black people. Until they get mad enough where they're going to march on the south side of Chicago, not just when it's a really, really high heinous case, like when that little boy got set up to be shot for revenge for his dad being in a gang or something like that, but when they're going to start to march for every life, everybody, there are people right now in every ghetto in America living in fear of their own community, and you fuckers do nothing about it. You do nothing. You wait till there's a camera around. You wait till race baiters and people who are basically just shit starters, if there's a camera there, like Jesse Jackson, like Father Flagger, like Al Sharpton, until they tell you to do something, then you start hopping to and doing something and acting the ass. That's all you're doing. You're not affecting change at all. Let's get that, just put that right out there right now. But don't think I'm going to let anybody else off the hook, like certain police officers. Police officers, for years, decades, have gotten away with bullying, murdering people, especially of color. Yes, they have. That's just a fact. And the reason they got away with it is because there wasn't social media before. They weren't called out on it as much. And and as many good police officers as there are in all these, organizations, I think a lot of them think about it. If you're a cop, it's kind of like a brotherhood. If you come out and say, this cop has murdered somebody, and you testify against that cop, I mean, shit, they made movies of the week of this type of shit. It's like the mafia's after you at that point. It's just like they all converge on you. I think other police officers who were truly good people and wanted to say something were afraid to say something, and rightfully so, because they were afraid of their fellow officers. Let's break it down with what's happened recently. I'm tired of what led up to this. I was going to say parade. What led up to this peaceful protest last night was all of these events that have happened recently. And my problem with the Black Lives Matter movement and these events is that they're lumping certain people in with true victims of racial violence from police with other people who just were acting the ass when they got arrested and unfortunately got killed. Or people who, like Sandra Bland, killed herself. I don't care what you say. The woman killed herself. She was belligerent and something was not right from her, even from the get-go when she was getting arrested. All right? Now, the officer that was arresting her was a dickhead. He was a complete fucking dickhead. He should be fired. He just shouldn't be a cop. I don't believe he was being super malicious to her. He was just a dick. That's all. Just a fucking dick. And we don't need dicks. We've got enough of them in the world. But to lump somebody like her or the guy, I forget his name, and forgive me for that, who got killed by Darren Wilson, who had robbed a store earlier that day, who had fought, and I don't care what anybody says, clearly fought Darren Wilson and gotten killed. They are not victims as someone like the guy who was selling CDs, and a homeless guy saw that he had a gun because I guess this homeless guy was aggressive towards him. And the guy said, look, I'm a black man, I'm right to carry a gun, I have a permit to own this, get away from me. Just showed it to him, and two white asshole cops show up and decide to shoot this man repeatedly when he's trying to tell him that he has a gun. That is not the same. So let's separate. Just because everybody shares a certain skin color doesn't mean they act the same. There were certain people that Black Lives Matter and other people like to trumpet as victims who were not victims, who were victims of themselves, who acted the complete ass. Now, the past two this week, I'm going to turn it around, trust me, were murdered, plain and simple. The guy got pulled over for a fucking taillight and was trying to tell them also as well that he had a gun and had a right to be carrying a gun, was murdered, straight out murdered. Those cops need to be, sentenced to either life in prison or the death penalty. Straight up murder. The cops who killed that guy selling the CDs need to be sentenced to life in prison or the death penalty. Straight up murder, no doubt about it. But what I want everybody else to remember is that one of the people, they're not very clear on exactly how many people were involved in last night's murder of police officers and actually clipped a few citizens in this. That was a hate crime. Are we going to talk about that? Is Beyonce going to dedicate a portion of her concert to the police officers who lost their lives last night? I mean, white lives matter too. Sorry. I know it's not a popular thing to say, but I don't give two shits. White lives matter. Hispanic lives matter. Asian lives matter. Why don't we just start a movement together called All Lives Fucking Matter? All right? And let's not be afraid to call our own race out on their bullshit. If I see somebody white and they're acting the fucking asshole, I'm not going to defend them. If they are resisting arrest and they get shot, that's unfortunate. That's all. It's just unfortunate. And they end up dying from it. Why the fuck were you resisting arrest? I've been pulled over by police before for times where I thought it was very unfair that I was being pulled over. But I didn't sit there and start foaming off at the mouth and be like, you ain't gonna fucking do shit to me, blah, blah, blah. Get my hands cuffed and then resist and say, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna fit the phone call first. Because guess what? Some bad shit could have happened off that. I'm just getting all this shit off because I just need to before I just dismiss the subject and start thinking about something else because it's too depressing. But what really annoyed me last night too was watching the news coverage of all this shit going on. They killed the guy, by the way, thank God, and I hope they kill everybody else who was involved with this. I'm sorry. These people who they have this kind of mindset don't deserve to be on this planet, as far as I'm concerned. What really got me was there were a few YouTubers, I don't know how successful they were or whatever, who went live last night because I was looking under live streams to see news feeds, who were sitting there. And you know how I feel about conspiracy nuts. They're fucking useless. They just are. They're people who want to feel special. They've seen the movie The Matrix one too many times, and they either want to be Neo or Morpheus and pretend they see something that you don't, and you're living in a false reality, and this is false flag. Everything is always a false flag. Like I've said before, everything that ever happens is a false flag so that Obama can stay in office and put some mandate down where I can't leave office, too much shit's going down now, and somehow FEMA will be involved and there'll be concentration camps for everybody. It's just nonsense bullshit. By the way, the whole FEMA trailer rumor, it's been going around since the year 2005. They sure are taking their time getting to, rounding everybody up, aren't they? These people who are telling you this don't know what they're talking about. And why they're hypocrites, and I can prove they're hypocrites, is these same people, these well-dressed people who get on there and spout like you don't know what's going on. It's a war that's starting. It's the secret society. It's the Illuminati lizard people, or whatever the fuck they're saying now. These same fuckers, if they were walking down the street and someone less than them, someone lower on the poverty scale, like a homeless person, came up to them saying, listen, tomorrow the fucking pig people are coming, they're taking over every IHOP, and they're gonna start making horrible plans from there, and we have to do something about this. They would look at them and think that person was batshit crazy, and they wouldn't give them the time of day. Why not listen? Why? What's to say your opinion and your conspiracy theories are more valid than their conspiracy theories are? That's why you can't trust these people. And also, if we're really, let's do a conspiracy theory right here and now. If I was going to run some type of conspiracy, do you know who I would put out there to distract that I'm really running conspiracy? People like Alex Jones, people like, I don't know, I can't think of it. There were a bunch of like YouTubers who believe in crazy crazy conspiracy theories. I would shove them forward. I would have them be part of my movement and say, listen, go on there, say the craziest batshit stuff you can. But the FEMA stuff in trailer camps and concentration camps, great. Fucking, islands where they're going to take people, great. Keep pushing that shit. Let's do the real shit behind everybody's back so they don't pay attention. That's what's going on. If you think you know what the real conspiracy is, you don't. Bottom line, you don't. And you need to stop And why I have a problem with these people is especially, I think there should be a moratorium on when you can start your conspiracy theory. Let's just give it a week till after the tragedy, of whatever tragedy happens, before you start spouting off at the mouth about shit you know nothing about. Let's just do that. Just give me a week. That's all I'm asking for. And one last point, again, another unpopular point, maybe, but I don't care, is, you know, this kind of proves one thing that the NRA loves to like hold on to, is that, you know, assault weapons are important. That if there had been assault weapons or somebody had been trained and really knew how to use them and more people had them, that shit like this would never happen, mass shootings would never happen. Guess what? Last night, there were a bunch of police officers, dozens and dozens of police officers, watching a protest who were armed, who had assault weapons, and people still died. I don't care if it's just one person that still died. Obviously, that little theory about assault weapons can still stop stuff, it didn't work because these people were trained to the max. Some police officers, I would suspect, were more trained than others. Because I would suspect that in any police department, you might have a few that were military. So it doesn't hold true. Now, again, have to end that by saying, I believe that people should be able to own guns. I have no problem with anybody owning a gun. An assault weapon, there's no need for it. I don't understand it, and we've seen too much shit going down. I mean, why not fucking, you know, bombs aren't legal. Why are assault weapons? Until those are equal, and everybody gets on the same page, they both should be sold separately, because maybe somebody just wants to go, I don't know, bomb deer in the woods so they could just get a clean, like, 10 of them dead and just not have to bother. Or they want to use it for hunting, or they just like to do stupid shit once in a while. You can't be such a fucking hypocrite on this. But what I really want to end this video is just by sending my condolences to, you know, all the police officers who lost their lives last night, their families, anybody who knows them, their friends. And I also want to say that my condolences go to the family and the friends of the two most recent cases of police violence against blacks who were straight up murdered. And I want to send, you know, my full, I'm sorry. And as somebody who's white himself, I apologize for those guys, because they give everybody a bad name. But I'm willing to call out my own race. Everybody else should be as well. Let's stop drinking the Kool-Aid for just a minute. And let's just all support each other. That's it.